Hello, hello, and welcome to week 52, which means that we are completing our first year in intuitive momentum fitness. So that is amazing. Thank you for those of you who have been here with me through this journey and been here along the way, even for parts of it. So much more to come, and it's exciting to see how this little community is growing and what will happen as we move forward. So today we're talking about staying in your lane. Kind of it goes along with the theme in our in the group in general, just the importance of listening to your body, honoring what you need, and adapting what you know about fitness and the ideals of fitness to what actually is best for you. There's a lot of advice out there, and a lot of good stuff, a lot of clickbait stuff, but what is your body needing, and how are you setting yourself up for success by focusing on the things that you need most? So so I'll go ahead and just read the post that I shared yesterday in preparation for today's live. So this is a tweet from Jordan Syatt, and I don't follow him, I don't know who he is, but I saw this meme and thought it was amazing. For one person, progress is saying no to the pizza and ice cream so they can hit their calories. For someone else, progress is saying yes to the pizza and ice cream without getting anxiety or feeling like a failure. Progress is not only measured in fat loss or in sticking to your plan. Mental progress matters too. So there are many aspects of being healthy, being mindful, understanding how to align with goals that you have, and different people are going to have different priorities, and different people are going to have different priorities at different times in their life. Different things are going to be the main thing, the priority, the forefront thing. So being able to be flexible, to not judge yourself real hard for not being perfect on certain levels, that is really important. So my comment with that was, this is why prioritizing your own personal health knowledge is so important. There is not one definition of progress. It's also why it seems that there is so much conflicting advice. Different things work for different goals for different people. Stay in tune with you. What are some things that you have to do that are different than others? So for me, I've had to be a lot more strict than most people, and that was ever since I was younger, or I should say I felt the effects of not being strict since I was younger. And I know that I was dealing with a lot of stress, a lot of trauma. Things were going on much more than I knew. And And so as I learned, like starting with when I was 17, I learned I was allergic to sugar. And then when I was 23, found out I had hypothyroid, hypoadrenia. And being really strict, really disciplined, I had to give up, bread in my late 20s because I found that I wasn't, like, the thing that showed me was I was going through a really stressful period, and I had ulcers, and after 6 weeks they weren't going away. And we tried some different things with my health practitioner at the time, and she looked into some things and decided to suggest that I cut out bread, and my ulcers went away the next day. And I was like, crap. Because I was in, like, I was busy, I was working and going to school, just starting school that at that time again, and making sandwiches was, part of my routine at the time, and it was like convenient, and it tasted good, and all the things were lined up for that, and it just felt really overwhelming to give up bread at that point in my life, and I had to like revamp my whole routine, like how I prepped meals and packed my lunches and stuff. So so along the way, I've actually ended up being more and more and more strict over the years with a lot of aspects of my health and fitness, but I realize that not everyone has to do that, and not everyone is in that space where it makes a difference. So for some reason, I keep finding that I have to be stricter than I have been, at least so far in my journey, in order to experience better health. And for me, it's even though it's been a bummer at times, it's actually ultimately been something I'm really grateful for, because I feel the difference, and I would way rather experience energy and health and strength and vitality than get to eat what I want. So, and how things taste has never been like a big part of my life, thankfully. Anyway, and so I'm fine eating the same things every day, because like those are the only things that don't give me a stomach ache, or cause gas, or cause me to feel lightheaded or fatigued. So I would way rather feel good than eat whatever I want. So for me, being consistent with that is my priority and what I value. For someone else, they might rather die than not get to eat certain things, and that's a priority they get to have. So that's okay. I just want to check that. Okay, looks like we are good to go. So yeah, and some people have different preferences. I feel like it's always important to honor preferences. So when I'm meeting with a client, I'm always asking, what kind of workouts do you like to do? Because there are different things that people can do, and if they have very specific goals, then I might have to suggest something to them that they're not interested in, but we can figure out a way to include it in their routine, such that they don't have to get overwhelmed by it, or really get discouraged by that. So some people like swimming, some people like running, Some people like lifting weights. Some people like circuit. Some people like classes. Some people like team sports. And there's a way to structure a workout program around each thing so that they can do the thing that they prefer to do and that they're inclined to do. And so having that will, like having it be something that they're choosing, something they desire, is really valuable as a place to start. And then with food, I always like giving the example of, let's say someone knows that they're really addicted to ice cream before bed, and that's just like has been a part of their routine forever, and they're not sure that they're emotionally ready to give that up. So then what they might do is kind of think about, like, what does this mean to me emotionally? And maybe it has to do with like that being the one time that their family was kind of, there was less conflict in their family growing up or something. And, you know, everyone kind of agreed that dessert was the one non-negotiable. They're always going to have that. Everyone's in a little bit better mood during that time. And so it's a really positive thing, and they really, you know, want to keep it in their life. So if that is the case, but they also know that having extra sugar before bed doesn't necessarily align with their goals, then would they be able to possibly find something else that could be a substitute for that on some nights of the week? Like, let's keep ice cream a special thing, but let's decide that it's going to be special on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights. So then maybe they can figure out something else that they'll have that's a little bit more aligned with their goals on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights. So that would be the first thing. And then once they get used to that for a few months, then maybe, you know, is it okay if they switch out Thursday night also? And then maybe they do Friday and Sunday nights for ice cream. And then, you know, maybe they find at some point that it's like they don't need that anymore. They can still remember and appreciate and value the special times that they had with it and do that every once in a while for special occasions or holidays. But maybe they don't need to do that each week or something. So like this is how we juggle progress in the various aspects of ourselves. And it's like we are multiple people that are integrated into one person. So there's the child, there's maybe the 5-year-old part of us that loves that dessert time ice cream and knows that it's really special because that was when the family was together and being pleasant. But there's also the 35-year-old version of you that knows that that may not be completely helpful for the goals that you have at the moment. And there's probably other parts of you as well that are like chiming in. So have a conversation, kind of have a committee meeting with all the parts of you that have a say in this, and just talk it out and figure out, like, what is progress for me? Spending all day watching a Netflix show might be the mental health recovery practice that you need. Going for a walk in the woods might be the mental health recovery practice that you need. Eating really, really well may be the mental health recovery practice that you need. Or eating some junk food might be the mental health recovery process that you need. So like really being in tune, having, there's the analytical uh, achiever part of you that's kind of more in tune with your goals and like, hey, this is lined up, this is not lined up. There's also the voice in your head that is shaming you, possibly from, kind of mimicking someone else's voice from a long time ago or from the current moment that is, unhelpfully offering some shame and judgment. And then there's the traumatized version of you that really needs to be comforted and encouraged and allowed space to grieve and be angry. And so being able to be present with all aspects of you is so valuable and so important. And that's why it can be tricky. It can be a nightmare in your head sometimes, sorting this out. But also, if you are able to really listen and witness the parts of you that you may feel inclined to judge, and you allow everything to be okay in the current moment, in the present moment, and you trust that nothing bad is going to happen just because I actually put a voice to the feelings and the desires that I have, or the things I don't want to do, or the overwhelm that I'm experiencing, or the discouragement and depression that I'm feeling. Like, allow it all to be okay. Just be present with yourself. Be real with yourself. Forgive yourself. Allow yourself to be where you're at. Even if like you go off the rails and have a crazy week and everything is just like not going well and you're not connecting or aligning with your goals or whatever, like if you allow that to be okay, you're less likely to just feel shame for falling off the wagon and less likely to continue to be off the wagon. If you allow everything to be okay and you address it and you listen and you witness and be present, stay present with yourself, then you're going to be able to release some emotions, process some things, allow yourself to be heard in ways that you haven't been, and you're going to come up with solutions, you're going to come up with new directions, you're going to come up with a new balance, new beliefs. Like maybe it's like I don't choose to believe this anymore. I don't choose this I don't choose this as my only option. I am going to claim my sovereignty and choose this other thing. This is my new direction. And so from the vantage point of looking at the entire year, this 1 week where you fell off the wagon and you allowed yourself to just kind of vomit all of your emotion and your fear and anxiety and apprehension and anxiousness, that is going to resolve itself way faster if you just allow it to be what it is for that whole week than if you were to judge it and try to control yourself and try to get yourself back in line and get with the program or whatever it is, and then keep failing and then continue to feel shame and judgment and then just kind of give up and not get back to your health intentions. So and it's also important, like I follow a lot of health and fitness professionals, whether they are competitors or like fitness influencers on Instagram or actual doctors and therapists and personal trainers and all of this. And just one session of scrolling through Instagram, I'll see very conflicting advice. So one person is going to be it's almost like shaming avoiding carbs and saying you can totally eat carbs if you listen to your body and all this stuff. And then the next person will, talk about how being disciplined will get you certain results and all this stuff. So like even just like one session of scrolling through Instagram, you can see conflicting things being posted. And that's totally okay. So like we have to come back into ourselves, claim our sovereignty and say, hey, what is my body telling me that I need to do right now for my goal alignment? And not be swayed by someone else, and I'm, experiencing a lot better health as I'm focusing on protein and fat and personally avoiding carbs because carbs become sugar faster than protein and fat do. And so I naturally feel better if I am avoiding carbs and focusing on protein and fat. And there's good science behind it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone has to do the same program as me to feel better or to be mentally healthy. So, but for me, if I'm seeing this, well-regarded fitness professional saying, don't let anyone tell you can't have carbs, and then they're showing the meal that they're eating, that's not going to sway me because I know my body. And that I love that they are, finding health and balance with their routine and listening to their body, and they may be helping someone find some balance in their own health. But I still get to prioritize my own self-awareness and my own self-knowledge and the things that make me feel better. So, so I allow them to do the things that are best for them, and I still choose to do the things that are best for me. So, want to get to your comments and include you in the conversation. And just want to make sure that they are coming through. Okay, good. So, so comments posted from before. So Danielle says, for me, progress is going to bed earlier and saying no to stuff that can wait in the morning. That's really, really good. I know that feeling of thinking, well, I could just take care of a couple more things and that will take, stuff off of the plate for tomorrow, check stuff off of the list for tomorrow. And at some point, like if you're tired, it's probably best to go to bed, because the longer you stay up, the more your own adrenaline kicks in to keep you awake. And then you just have a harder time going to sleep. So at least that's my experience. So I love that, Danielle. Thank you for sharing that. Progress is going to bed earlier and saying no to the stuff that can wait for the morning. So theoretically, if you get a good night's sleep, then you're full of energy. You can get stuff done really quick in the morning where it might take you longer in the evening. And Menavit says, I've been sick in bed for a while now. Not the cooties, just worn down, which has given me time to think more than I usually do. A friend posted this interview with William Shatner on meditation, and my foggy brain came through with a morsel of goodness. The meditation teacher explains that meditation is a practice of opening up, growing, and strengthening the part of our consciousness which is not critical, unkind, I find often. And so this is the answer to your question for the moment then. So I love that. I got to watch about the first, a little over the first half of that video that she shares here in her comment. And it's quite good. So what Manavit says here again is the meditation teacher explains that meditation is a practice of opening up, growing, and strengthening the part of our consciousness which is not critical. And I think that is really, really valuable, because there tends to be a lot of emphasis on staying or emptying your mind, like not thinking. but rather, I think it's like focusing on, like she says, opening up, growing, and strengthening the part of our consciousness which is not critical. I was realizing how much of my free thinking time has been about, wow, eating that won't benefit my body. Or, gosh, I remember when I used to be able to hop on my bike as transportation and be out all day without worrying about my body giving out without any warning. I believe a large part of this has been due to living in Southern California, where there is so much social pressure to follow certain ideas and practices. In Louisiana, there's the absence of those particular ideas and practices, and I feel the absence of them very strongly. And so progress for me is now to be able to follow my cat's lead on their relationship with their body and enjoy how it feels and moves, and not spend 100% of my time worrying about how to make it better than it is right now. That's so amazing. That's a good visual, because cats are really, really good with their self-care. They stop playing with you when they want to stop playing with you. If they don't want any more pets, then they go away. When it's time to sleep, they go to sleep, and they like really prioritize their body and how they feel and their self-care. So that is a good visual, something we can all learn from. So just like setting really good boundaries, like, really being in tune with their bodies, knowing what your body feels like, and adjusting for that. I really, really want to live from now on with appreciation for what my body is and what it does, and I want to help my body become strong and beautiful in whatever form it has to take after I put it through hell for 4 decades. My body deserves love, and it has a lot of life left in it. I have to remember this. And that really articulately kind of comes back to one of the things that I believe about the body, that when we listen to it and we honor it and we respect it, it will be its healthiest version. It will be its most beautiful version. So it's kind of interesting, because the fitness world and the health industry and all of this does seem to be focused at times on beauty and performance, and like forcing the body to be there, whether it is, equal to that or not, or ready for that or not, instead of actually listening and self-care. And so it's weird that slowing down and adjusting to our body's preferences feels like we're not going to reach our goals, when it, I believe, is the only authentic way forward. Really honoring your preferences, really honoring your body's desire is the only way forward. And that is the most direct path to lifelong vitality and energy and strength. So everything that we're doing here in listening to our body, adapting what we're choosing, adapting what we prioritize to our body's preferences is the key. So reducing stress, self-soothing, the basics of water and nutrition, and moving and stretching and lifting heavy things and practicing gratitude, all these simple things that connect us back to this temple that we get to live in, is how we align so that the body can become its most vibrant self. So thank you for sharing that, Manavit. And then Lucy says, yes, we are all so unique. I eat low carb and have to eat meat for protein, as it's hard to get protein on a vegetarian diet. I have lymphedema in my right arm, which sometimes acts up. I have to pay attention to that and take care of it. If I don't, it turns into an infection. So I can't work as hard as I would like on the garden, say, for hours. I am loving and listening to my body always. So grateful the lymphedema hasn't acted up too much, as I am used to taking care of it. My arm is normal size too, and I don't have to wear the sleeve or gloves anymore. That's cool. So as a massage therapist, I've actually worked on clients with lymphedema and done lymphatic drainage for them. And that is so challenging, really, really tough. It can really get in the way of natural life activities, and it can be super tricky sometimes. So that's a lot to adapt to, but that's a great example, Lucy, of tailoring your behavior not to match what others would do or even what you would want to do if you didn't have that, but honoring the condition of your body as it currently stands and caring for it, prioritizing it. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's a really good example, and I'm so glad that you don't have to wear the sleeve or the gloves anymore, because that is a hassle and just kind of awkward in a lot of different ways. So I'm glad that's helping. So how are you guys? Hopefully you're holding up, doing well. It's been just an absolutely packed week for me, and feeling the kind of the fatigue and just the energy drain of being in nonstop motion and connecting. Tomorrow should be a little bit slower for me, so I'm hoping to recover a little bit tomorrow. But I can't remember. I don't remember if I mentioned this last week, but I signed up for a pickleball tournament in a couple weeks. I'm gonna play singles on Friday and then mixed doubles on Sunday in the middle of the month, and so looking forward to that. And got some training in today for the singles. Got to run around a lot, wear myself out, so that was good. So keep me posted, reach out if you need anything. I've enjoyed connecting with those of you individually who have reached out, and then connecting in the group. Appreciate the updates from Julia and the rest of you. So yeah, have a great week. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.